feeling down, you pick me up.
Sing, oh, oh.
And when my heart is feeling emptied out, you fill my cup.
Sing it out now. Oh, oh.
I just wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I just wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I wanna say thank you, just wanna say thank you.
Yeah.
T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you.
Thank you.
T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you.
Here we go, verse 2.
I'm grateful for the way you've been a friend to me.
Sing, oh, oh.
And even in the deepest, darkest night, you help me see.
Sing it out now. Oh, oh.
I just wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I just wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I wanna say thank you, just wanna say thank you. T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you.
Thank you.
T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you. T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you.
Thank you.
T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you. For the joy that you give to me, for the way that you made me free, for my friends and my family, I just wanna say, for loving me from the start, for every beat, beat, beat of my heart, for everything you are. I just wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I just wanna say thank you for the way you love me. I wanna say thank you, just wanna say thank you. T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you.
Thank you.
T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you. T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you.
Thank you.
T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U, thank you. For the joy that you give to me, for the way that you made me free, for my friends and my family, I just wanna say, for loving me from the start, for every beat, beat, beat of my heart, for everything you are. I just wanna say.
Hey everyone, I'm so glad you're able to join us from wherever you are. It's been a fun month talking about gratitude with all of you. Gratitude is letting others know you see how they have helped you. Hey, Tarzan. Tarzan? Tarzan?
What?
Why do you have your ears plugged? We're trying to make a video.
Well, you've been yelling at the beginning of all these videos, so I just plugged my ears so that it was nice and quiet until you were done. I wasn't expecting your yelling to be so short this week. What did you even say?
Seriously? I wanted to show you how grateful I am for how patient you have been with all of my yelling. So I said a really nice introduction just for you.
Oh, well thank you. I'm sorry I missed it. I'm sure it was great.
All good. It's really good practice because I'm trying to get into the habit of being more grateful.
Perfect. I have some great ideas on how you can practice.
More practice? Perfect. Okay, so what do you need?
What I need is for the kids to get up and dance because it is time for our next song.
I can't stop. I won't stop. I can't stop, won't stop. I'll never stop singing your praises. Singing your praises.
Some people find it really hard to say thank you. Some people have an even harder time saying thank you to God. And it's not because they don't want to, it's just because they haven't made it a habit to be grateful.
I know I'm guilty of that. But part of the problem is I wouldn't even know where to start to say thank you to God.
Well, luckily, there are some things I'm sure you do without even noticing it.
Really? Like what?
Well, some of them are built into the calendar. We have holidays like Christmas, where we celebrate and say thank you for sending Jesus to earth as a baby. And then there's Easter, where we celebrate and say thank you to Jesus for his teachings and sacrifice.
Well, that was pretty easy.
Yeah, it is. And we also have another celebration that we do at the church. And churches do it around the world, and we call it communion.
Communion? I know communion. It's an amazing way for people to celebrate Jesus and remember his teachings. I didn't even think about that.
Well, for those of you who don't know it as well as us, let's talk about it a little. Let's start by looking back at the last meal Jesus had with his disciples. That night, Jesus ate a special meal with his disciples and his closest friends. This meal was called Passover, which is a celebration of the Jewish people to thank God for saving them from slavery in Egypt. By Jesus' time, they had been celebrating this for a long, long time. People today still celebrate it. As the people ate the Passover meal, they took time to remember the way God had rescued his people, the Jewish people, from Egypt. Really, what they were doing was showing their gratitude to God for delivering them from a time where they didn't know if they were ever going to come out the other side.
Wow, does that ever sound relatable? But it's really good to see that they were in the habit of showing gratitude.
That's a great point, Smalls. And that's actually our bottom line for today. Get in the habit of being grateful.
So, what does that have to do with communion?
Okay, well, let me get back to the story.
Sorry, my bad.
All good. I'm always grateful for your questions and opinions. Well, Jesus had been celebrating this once a year, every year of his life. And so had everyone else in the room. But Jesus knew that this was going to be their last meal they ate together. Usually at this meal, there were particular foods. One of these was what's known as unleavened bread. Unleavened just means there isn't any yeast added to it to make it fluffy. So look at this graham cracker. This graham cracker has no leaven. So if I push on it, it just snaps. There's not really any bubbles. There's just lots of little layers, and that's about it. But then if I look at this bun has had leaven added to it, so it's nice and fluffy. So most bread that you get is nice and fluffy and full of air pockets, and that's caused by yeast. So the other thing, the bread represents how quickly the Jewish people had to leave Egypt when God delivered them. They didn't have time to add the yeast. They just cooked the dough as it was, and then they got out of there. That's how quickly they were leaving. The other thing that they would have would be grape juice, and this was to remind them of a symbol from when they were fleeing from Egypt that promised that God would save the lives of their entire family from what was coming. This would have been what everyone around the table was thinking about.
That's a lot of food for thought. Get it? I'm just gonna keep eating.
Okay. On this night, though, Jesus picked up the bread and said that he was kind of like the unleavened bread. What he meant was that he wasn't like everyone else. There was something special about him. He then picked up the juice and said that he was just like the symbol used in Egypt to save the lives of the Jewish people at the time, all those years ago.
So, let me see if I got this. He was using things they understood to explain to them that he was different from everyone else, and that if we follow his example, he will lead us to happier and more fulfilling lives.
Exactly. And communion is how we show our gratitude for this. We have a special calendar in the church, and communion is one of the days that gets put on this calendar to mark special occasions like Easter and Christmas and the beginning of a new church season.
Oh, so I don't even have to plan it out?
Nope, you just need to tune into our Sunday services when we do communion, and Rev Mark will lead everything for you. All you need is some bread or some crackers and some juice.
This is making me really hungry. Can we get going to the next video so I can have some dessert?
Okay.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. And now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11.
The night before Jesus gave up his life, he had a special dinner with his closest friends, the Passover meal.
Take this and eat it.
The Israelites had been celebrating Passover for a long time. It all began in Egypt when God's people were forced into slavery. At last, God sent Moses to face down Pharaoh and demand freedom for the Israelites.
Let my people go.
Over and over, Pharaoh promised to let the Israelites go, but then changed his mind. And each time, God sent a plague, a terrible warning, so Pharaoh would let the Israelites go. There were frogs, flies, hail, darkness, and more. And finally, God sent the 10th and most terrible plague of all.
The Lord says, every oldest son in Egypt will die.
It was a terrible day, but God made a way to save the sons of the Israelites.
Go at once. Each family must kill a Passover lamb. Put some of the blood on top and on both sides of the doorframe. The Lord won't let the destroying angel enter your homes.
The Israelites did just as God had told them. That night, Pharaoh finally ordered the Israelites to leave.
Get out of here. Go!
The Israelites packed so quickly that they didn't even have time for their bread to rise, so they baked flatbread without yeast.
Crunchy.
Then God led them out of Egypt to freedom.
Always remember this day. You and your children after you must celebrate this day as a feast to honor the Lord.
As God instructed, the Israelites made a habit of celebrating Passover with a meal of lamb and flatbread with no yeast, just like the bread they had taken with them out of Egypt.
Blessed are you, Lord our God.
Jesus grew up celebrating the Passover every single year. But when he shared the meal with his friends the night before he died, Jesus did something different. He changed the Passover meal. The Apostle Paul wrote about it years later in his letter to the Corinthians.
On the night the Lord Jesus was handed over to his enemies, he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it. He said, "This is my body. It is given for you. Every time you eat it, do it in memory of me."
The bread was a reminder of how the very next day, Jesus would give himself up and allow himself to be killed for us. Paul continues.
In the same way, after supper, he took the cup. He said, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood. Every time you drink it, do it in memory of me."
The drink was a reminder of how Jesus would allow his own blood to be spilled out so that we can live. Because of Jesus, we don't have to try to prove to God that we're good enough. All we have to do is believe that Jesus came to rescue us and choose to follow him. Jesus took an old habit of gratitude, the Passover, and made a brand new habit of gratitude, the Lord's Supper or communion. The Passover meal was a celebration of how God had rescued his people from slavery. Now, the Lord's Supper is a celebration of how God has made it possible for everyone to be rescued from sin and death through the life and death and resurrection of Jesus. And for the last 2,000 years, people have been celebrating what Jesus did for us by eating bread and drinking wine or juice together. Some churches do it every Sunday or every month. Others might do it a few times a year. They use different kinds of bread or wafers or wine or juice. But in every case, the habit is the same. It's a beautiful chance for us to remember together the amazing way that God has rescued us and to thank him for all he's given us.
It's time again for Retro Reel.
I just can't wait for the big feast tomorrow. All those bright, shining faces coming here. And just to think some of them may not have ever been thanked properly. There'll be roast beef and ham and turkey and chicken. And all thanks to you, Shifty.
Who's coming to our house tomorrow? I thought we was having a quiet evening for a change. Just me, you, and your mama. Wait, did I say quiet?
Don't pretend you don't know what she's talking about, Shifty. 50 teachers from the nearby schools are all coming over here tomorrow for a thank you feast.
I thought we usually just got them a card and a smelly candle. What does this have to do with me?
Because when I said I wanted to do something for them, you said you would take care of it. You promised to get all the food, like a food angel. You didn't forget, did you?
Me? Never.
Let me make sure I got this right, Shifty. You're supposed to bring food for the feast.
Correct, Bingo.
But you don't have any food.
Correct, Bingo.
Because you forgot. Because you're not used to being grateful because you usually only think about yourself.
Correct. I mean, let's just go get the food, Bingo.
Look at all that food.
It says free, too. This is gonna work out like a slip and slide on an eel thigh.
That don't make no sense, Shifty.
Hello, my dear customers. Hello. Listen, Bub. We're here to pick up some of your free food. I got a big party going on tonight, and I don't have any grub.
Absolutely. But you have to buy a freezer to get the free food.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. This party is supposed to be a big thank you feast for all the teachers in town. To say thank you. See, it's in the paper. But unfortunately, we don't have any food.
I see your predicament. I guess I could donate a freezer full of food. It's always good to be grateful, even.
We'll take it. Here's an invitation to the feast.
An invitation, you say? Well, I will accept, even. I'll wear my jacket and bow tie and show some gratitude.
You don't have to get dressed up there, Bub. Come on, Bingo. We gotta get going or Fifi will know I forgot. We'll be wondering where I am. Can't this truck go any faster, Bingo?
If I was driving any faster, Shifty, we'd be going into the future.
Well, my future looks pretty bad if we don't get this food there in time.
I thought he forgot.
Me too.
I like going down the stairs better than going up, Shifty.
This is the last bunch, Bingo.
I wonder where they got all this free food.
I don't want to know.
I'm about to pass out, Shifty.
As promised, Fifi, food for the feast.
Thanks, Shifty.
Thank you too, Bingo.
Oh, I'm good, Miss Wanda. Oh, I gotta go.
Settle down now, settle down. I have a few words I would like to pontificate upon you. Over the last 24 hours, I've learned that you really need to get in the habit of being grateful. So, I would like to say thank you to my beautiful wife and her mother, who prepared all the delicious sustenance in front of you. Also, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Curley down at the food store and Bingo for helping provide and procure the food they prepared. I have enjoyed this so much, I would like for them to do those things again for you next week. So, I'm formally and officially inviting you for another feast next weekend. That is all.
For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. Which nobody.
Tarzan,
What's up?
what would you suggest I do if I wanted to get into the habit of being grateful?
I'm glad you asked because I brought this up at the beginning. This is where I'm going to give you the things to do. So, let's start off with something simple. Why don't you list off some things that you are grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful for my family, even sometimes when we don't always get along. My family's dog, Delilah, oh, I love her so much. I'm so grateful for her.
She's pretty cute.
She is. That I have a job that I love. I get to teach dance, which is so much fun, and I here at the church, and I love the church. I'm so grateful for the church. That I have food to eat. I have food to eat, and I have clean water to drink, and that I live in Canada.
That is quite the list. Now, I want you to make a list of the things you're grateful for every night before you go to sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, be grateful that you got the opportunity to wake up and have another day. Now, you mentioned something there at the end. You're thankful you live in Canada.
Oh, absolutely. We are so lucky to live somewhere peaceful that has lots of food, clean water, free health care, and a fairly elected government.
I'm glad to hear it. Do you know who you have to thank for that?
Who?
Well, there's actually lots of people you could thank, but I'm specifically thinking of a group of people called veterans.
Oh yeah, Remembrance Day is coming up.
Yes, it is. A way you can show your gratitude to veterans or people who have served or died in wars for Canada is to wear a poppy. You could write letters to a veteran. Maybe you could observe a moment of silence where you just take some time to think of them, and say thank you, either in your head or maybe say it out loud at the end. Another thing you brought up that I found interesting is you brought up food a bunch of times.
Well, yeah, you like food, right?
Who doesn't?
Exactly. The problem is not everyone gets to eat food every day. And I don't just mean in other countries. Even in Canada, there are people who do not have food to eat every day.
That is true.
But I've been working with these amazing ladies here at the church, and we put together a food drive for the whole month of November so that we can collect food and then people will have food during the Christmas season.
That's awesome. And there is yet another way that you can get in the habit of being grateful. A lot of times we have more than we need, whether it's food or money or time. When we have more than we need, a good way to show gratitude is to give that extra stuff to others who don't have what we have. Maybe it's donating food to a food drive, or money to an organization, or even volunteering your time to help those around you. There's a special word that we use for this. It's called charity.
Is that why charities are called charities?
Yep, because they're organizations that rely only on the kindness and donations of others so that they can help other people in their community.
You've given me a lot to think about here today, Tarzan. And you know what?
What?
I'm going to use all of November to get in the habit of being grateful. Every day, I'm going to list all the things that I am grateful for. Then my goal for the week is to do something for Remembrance Day. I need to go out and get my poppy and make sure that I wear it every day so that I can remember all of those people who have been serving. And then for the whole month, something that we can do to get into the habit of being grateful is to get food items for the food drive. Every day there is an item that the Salvation Army in Woodstock could really use. So we are going to collect all of those items on each day of November, and then we're going to donate them at the beginning of December. Send it all to the food drive so that they have enough food for people when the weather gets colder and Christmas time is coming. So check out this video about how the food drive is going to work this year.
The Community Connections team is doing a food drive, and we want you to be part of it.
Starting November 1, there will be a separate item for every day for 28 days that you can put in your box for collection.
We're calling this pre-Advent because we're doing it during November so that when the need is the greatest in December, we'll be prepared.
On December the 4th and 5th, you can bring all your items to our drop-off location.
Or you can contact the church and arrange for pickup.
Let's support our community by filling those empty stomachs.
This is a great opportunity for you and your family to support your local community. Check makingconnections.com or the Chelmsford Village Voice for all the details.
As always, we are grateful that you joined us once again, and we hope to see you next week. Bye!